You are absolutely right that there is a tremendous amount of elitism in Indian democracy. We know very well we have a very good constitution, but the constitution itself has been the product of elites. And the role that money plays in Indian politics is very well known. And that is where I think we have to ensure that the demographic dividend that India has, which many other countries fail to have it, we must tap this demographic dividend to such an extent to see that that students are nurtured with necessary skills on all aspects, and particularly that helps them for their lives. And furthermore, we also need good leaders, and their qualities are so important for the future of this nation. I was very much impressed by the title you have given, from studentship to statesmanship. And as a practicing academic for over 45 years, having known the campus and also taught political science and also headed the campus as Vice Chancellor of Central University of Kerala, I can very well connect with some of the organic aspects and issues covering this major problem. You are absolutely right that there is a tremendous amount of elitism in Indian democracy. That has been there. It was unavoidable. We know very well we have a very good constitution, but the constitution itself has been the product of elites. But for that, this constitution would not have come. But elitism that way was not bad, provided they have the concern and sympathy for the underprivileged sections. But as we moved on, what we really happened was that our elitism has been overall has been dominated by traditional elites, mostly atavistic elements dominated, particularly from caste, religion, ethnicity, and so many aspects. And then it was also followed by the lumpenism, which we call as muscle power in politics, and also related to money aspect. Money is also extremely important, and the role that money plays in Indian politics is very well known. And given the kind of huge nature of this country and the disparity in the regional surface of politics, it is very difficult to create a kind of a standardized pattern for democratic growth. But yet we succeeded. We survived when many of our neighbors collapsed, falling into the military, the hands of the military, or even destructive to create dismemberment. We, with a huge diversity and so much of unevenness, 18% of literacy, less than 18% of literacy, and with so much of poverty, more than 85% dependent on agriculture, and that to traditional modes of production, we are able to transform this country. And that is remarkable. That part, let us not ignore that part. But having said that, as we move on to the almost the second quarter of the 21st century, this is 2024, I think it is time for us to take a proper stock of the situation. And that is where I think we have to ensure that the demographic dividend that India has, which many other countries fail to have it, we must tap this demographic dividend to such an extent to see that that students are nurtured with necessary skills on all aspects, and particularly that helps them for their lives. And furthermore, we also need good leaders, and their qualities are so important for the future of this nation. I was very much impressed by the title you had given, from studentship to statesmanship. As you know, in many of the Western countries where democracy succeeded very effectively, students take up the political leadership only after their successful careers or completing their education, obtaining large number of degrees or necessary skills. Some of them join politics, but their campus atmosphere the nature of education provided from there, the kind of training, etc., enables them to lead the system very well, and they have a fairly sound knowledge of how to lead the country for the betterment of the society. Whereas we have so much of complexity and diversity, besides innumerable problems we have, most of the time our student community itself is confused because of the uneven wavelength across all of them. And this is a main problem because, as we know, there are students coming for education with poverty in their homes and supported by small scholarships and some kind of subsistence allowance. And on the other side, we have also elite universities and colleges, which provide very good education for the growth of the students in general. All these things are important, but how to transform them for the youth for constructive and political leadership, and how to create the kind of empathy for the poor, these things are extremely important. Unfortunately, the so-called campus atmosphere that we prevail in, particularly in Kerala campuses, have great problems. And that has to be highlighted and flagged because although we have created a cream of political leaders for the growth of Kerala state, and some of them had become really statesmen, definitely so. But by and large, over a period of time, our campus atmosphere had fallen to low levels of quality education. And furthermore, we also have problems in the campus in terms of violent political competition, and further, some of them creating a kind of elites among themselves to dominate political process within the campus, and ultimately all these have resulted in output and low quality education. Let us take two examples now. Number one, why ragging is on the rise in Kerala campuses. Secondly, why is that many of our students migrate to other countries? Because of lack of employment, educational opportunities, many other things. So we can find any number of problems, but in other universities, except probably a few central universities, like Jawaharlal University or Central University of Hyderabad, and few universities have a hot campus character. But by and large, the campus atmosphere is very, very different, depending upon the region, the kind of quality stuff, etc. Because I have rich experience in visiting hundreds of campuses as chairperson of the NAT peer team and many other levels. So therefore, I must say that there is unevenness that exists in the campuses, and it is very hard to create a kind of a standardized pattern. But we need to, having 52% of our youth population of the total population, the youth are 52%. How are you going to tap the demographic dividend? If you wanted to genuinely tap the demographic dividend, we need to catch up with many things, including curricula, including educational content, and definitely the infrastructure that are required in the campuses, even for sports, cultural, and many other activities, and also the kind of psychological support and emotional support needed for the growth of the student community. And therefore, finally, they will be in a position to catch up and provide what constitute the quality leadership and how they can transform into statesmanship. As we know, I am compelled to say Mark Twain, there are many definitions about politics, but Mark Twain's very critical comment that politics has unfortunately becomes a profession where you can continue lying, you can continue robbing, you can continue to be violent, yet you can be respectful. Unfortunately, that's the state of affairs of many kinds of political leadership in India. Even in Kerala, violence has caught up very effectively. So Limbanism is a fact. So how to overcome this? I think quality education with a kind of empathy and support, even for sports, cultural, and art activities. And definitely, the student leadership should be encouraged to do constructive activities. And they must be made a part of the system, give more legitimate space, and so that they'll be able to provide better leadership. And this quality leadership they are going to give in the years to come if they join politics. Not everyone join politics, but we need good leaders, good students to join politics. And if they come with good quality, with a kind of education, training, and leadership qualities, and not just speaking about IITs or IIMs, even basic universities in private or deemed or public institutions, they must be given the opportunity to see that students are given statesmanship qualities. I can speak at length, but due to constraints of time, I'm going to close it. as a political scientist, I must say that politics is omnipresent. There is nothing apolitical. You cannot destroy politics. You have to improve the quality of politics. So there is nothing called politics, and how to improve the quality of politics, the political process, to a great extent depends upon the youth, because they constitute more than half of Indian population. And if they are given sufficient exposure, even at the global level, even at the campus level, and also provide a kind of empathy for the poor and underprivileged, these statesmanship qualities will automatically come on them. I believe that we need student leaders to join politics with statesmanship qualities, not from a destructive angle, but absolutely from a constructive and statesmanship qualities. And that is how we need to lead this country for better heights. We need professional students. We also need quality students. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.